what makes you so unique. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings, Nicole Everett here with Conversations with Nicole. We're here at the Paisley Cafe in Midtown, Tallahassee, and today we're talking economic opportunity and prosperity. My special guest is Ms. Cara Palmer-Smith, the Senior Director of CareerSource Capital Region. Welcome, Cara.
Thank you, Nicole.
So, Cara,
Yes.
CareerSource Capital Region, what is it? What do they do? Who do they serve?
Nicole, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show today.
My pleasure.
CareerSource Capital Region is the workforce development organization for the three-county area, Leon, Gaston, and Wakulla counties. Our mission is to connect employers with qualified and skilled talent in order for people to realize economic prosperity. So we work with employers and career seekers to connect them to the right jobs and training opportunities.
We're talking to the right person then.
That's right.
So how do end users connect with CareerSource?
So we have various end users.
Okay.
Our number one end users are the employers that are in the community. We work through employflorida.com, which is our statewide jobs database. And in our area, there are over 3,000 employers that are actually utilizing that particular system.
Okay.
And so we have a team of account executives who work with employers to assess their needs for talent, resources, whether it's training grants that they need or professional development workshops. We also work with career seekers who are in different stages of life. We have your entry-level career seeker who could be a youth or a young professional. We also have your mid-level career seeker as well as your more executive and seasoned career seeker. And we have offerings for all of those different groups of career seekers, whether it's through our workshops or our training programs.
Okay, so that's pretty comprehensive.
Absolutely.
Are there any specific business sectors that you all are focusing on currently?
About a year ago, we decided that we needed to focus on what we call sector strategies. And within that, there are some core areas that we're focusing on. They also have been identified as growth areas or areas for growth in our particular region. So healthcare is definitely on our list. We have a lot of healthcare providers here. We also serve a lot of individuals who come from surrounding areas for healthcare. And so there are lots of healthcare jobs out there, as well as information technology. Those are two major growth sectors in our region. And so CareerSource Capital Region is focused on those as well as others. So we work with a lot of retailers. We work with the state agencies, but we do have several industries that we consider our areas of focus.
Are there any specific partners or stakeholders that you all work with?
Yes, so because of the scope of the work that we do at CareerSource, aside from our employers and career seekers, we consider those folks stakeholders, but we also work with our economic development partners as well as our Chamber of Commerce partners and any other business organizations. There is a group, ARROW, which is the Alliance of Entrepreneurial Resource Organizations, that we work with. I actually serve as the chair this year, and we are there to serve businesses that are just starting or those that are also in existence.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Ms. Chair.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break right here, but
Okay.
when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about CareerSource, but delve into a little bit about Cara Palmer-Smith.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Nicole.
Stay tuned for more conversations. This portion of Conversations with Nicole is sponsored by Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, we're here in Midtown talking economic opportunity and prosperity with my guest, Cara Palmer-Smith. So, Cara.
Yes, Nicole.
Before the break, you were telling me about CareerSource and some of the services and stakeholders.
Absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Now, you came here to attend Florida A&M University, correct?
I did. I am a graduate of Florida A&M University. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and I actually have a master's degree in sport management.
Okay, wow, sports management. So how did you go from sports management to employment and career services?
Yeah, it all just kind of happened accidentally. So just like anyone else that comes here for school, you kind of fall in love with Tallahassee, and that's what happened to me. I started after college. I started volunteering for a nonprofit that worked with individuals to help them find employment. After volunteering there, I became an actual employee. Ended up running their program that helped individuals, at-risk individuals, find employment. So that's how I started my career in workforce development, as well as the reason why I stayed in Tallahassee. And then I spent 6 years in economic development as well, and now I'm able to go back to workforce development. So I know the sport management makes absolutely no sense, but I thought that I wanted to be a sports reporter when I was in college, and so
I could see that. I could see you in those locker rooms, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to be a sports reporter on the sideline. Went on a couple of internships, decided that I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Was already heading down that path, so decided to get a sport management degree. And really the only difference between the sport management degree and maybe a MBA is that you learn the same concepts and principles. It's just that they relate it to a sports setting.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
it helps me a lot now in my position.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
Yeah.
What qualities do you most admire in people?
I really admire honesty and integrity. In the world that we live in, there are so many opportunities for us to not be honest and for our integrity to be compromised. So I really admire individuals that are in certain situations and positions that can hold true to who they are and stay honest and really keep that integrity intact.
Okay, love it. And what inspires you?
What inspires me? Winning. Not winning in the terms of my football team winning on Sunday or Saturday or Friday or Thursday.
Go Rattlers.
Or any sports team for that matter. But winning in terms of being able to overcome any challenges. I didn't mention this, but I'm actually from Jamaica. I was born there and actually raised a little bit and moved here when I was young. And when I first came to this country, it wasn't easy for me or my family. So winning, so being able to overcome obstacles and challenges and be the best that I can be. And that's what I strive to be every day.
What's the best thing about what you do at CareerSource?
There are so many great things about what I do, but I think at the end of the day, the best thing is knowing that helping an employer, which then leads to helping a citizen in our community become gainfully employed and be able to provide for their family, and then being able to contribute to our local economy. That is very satisfying, and I sleep very good at night knowing that we're doing that day in and day out.
Wow, that's a great thing to be proud of.
Absolutely.
Economic opportunity and prosperity
That's
in a
right.
nutshell.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time today, Cara.
Thank you, Nicole. It's been fun.
Hopefully you'll come back and share some more conversations with us soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Stay tuned for more conversations.
the Office of Economic Vitality works to facilitate economic growth through the implementation of a strategic plan that was community approved. We are a one-stop shop for...
This portion of Conversations with Nicole is sponsored by Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. On this medical moment, we are talking about cardiovascular research and heart disease. I have Dr. Wayne Batchelor with Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare with me. Welcome, Dr. Batchelor.
Good morning.
Dr. Batchelor, tell me about the cardiovascular research that takes place here at TMH.
Well, we have a lot of research occurring at this institution. We do research in valvular heart disease, heart failure, coronary disease, preventive cardiology, and devices and imaging. So there's a tremendous amount of research occurring here that many people in the community are not even aware of. We've been first implanters of a number of novel devices here and have a really fantastic track record in research.
Now, the Heart and Vascular Center is kind of state of the art here, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got all modalities of cardiovascular intervention, diagnostic imaging, and preventive medicine. We've got a well-developed rehab program, and we have all sorts of really fantastic minimally invasive procedures that we're doing now where we can subject patients to much less risk and much faster recovery than traditional open surgical procedures, for example.
Okay. Are there any ethnicities that are, experiencing some disparities as it relates to this particular area of healthcare?
Yeah, that's a good question, Nicole. It turns out that when we do research, all demographics are not equally represented. There tends to be a bias whereby especially white men tend to be enrolled in clinical trials at a much higher rate than other groups. So women and minorities historically have lacked in terms of their clinical trial enrollment. We've done a study recently to try to address that as it relates to coronary stenting that I can tell you about.
What implications does this have?
Yeah, well, it has tremendous implications. The effectiveness and safety of a drug or device is based on the research that leads to its approval at the FDA level. So what goes in is what comes out. In other words, if you have only a small number of minorities and women enrolled in clinical trials, we really don't have a good sense for how these devices and drugs work in those particular demographics. It can't be assumed that every medicine and every device works exactly the same in every type of patient. We're learning this as we do more research. So I think it's imperative that we as physicians and as communities of researchers make sure that we get good clinical trial enrollment across multiple different demographics, including women, men, minorities, and different age groups.
All right, so how are you addressing these disparities in the research?
Well, one thing that we've done, myself and Dr. Roxana Miran from Mount Sinai in New York helped construct a study called the Platinum Diversity Study. We were national co-principal investigators on a study that enrolled only women and minorities and collected all their data before and after coronary stent procedures, so procedures to open up arteries. The study was sponsored by Boston Scientific, and we collected data in over 1,500 men and minorities and women. This was the first of its kind. It's been presented at multiple national meetings and will be printed in Journal of the American Medical Association shortly. What we found was women and minorities had similar acute results. In other words, the success of the stent was very similar across the different groups compared to white men, but they had a slightly higher risk of recurrent heart attacks in the year following their procedure. The reason for this is complex, but it relates in part to controlling risk factors and also to, believe it or not, two predictors which were not traditional predictors that include having insurance and also if you're a widow. So we found in the study that if a male or a female widow, your risk of having a heart attack in the next year was higher. And if you didn't have private insurance, interestingly, your risk of dying or having a heart attack was elevated. Wow. These are really interesting findings, and it speaks to the issue of social determinants of health impacting your health, not only the standard clinical things that we look at as physicians.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really going to spark a lot of debate.
And this study is
This is called the Platinum Diversity Study. It enrolled 1,501 patients across 52 sites in 52 states, actually. Yeah. So we got really good penetration across the east, west coast, north, and south, and had really good enrollment from across the entire country.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more conversation. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. We're here at the Paisley Cafe in Midtown Tallahassee talking economic opportunity and prosperity. My special guest is Mr. Al Latimer, the director of the Tallahassee-Leon Office of Economic Vitality. Welcome, Al.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
So you've been, the Office of Economic Vitality has been open for about a year now, correct?
Just over a year, about a year and a half.
Okay.
And I've been on board just about a year. And the Office of Economic Vitality works to facilitate economic growth through the implementation of a strategic plan that was community approved. Mm-hmm. We are a one-stop shop for business needs throughout the community. Okay. And that means we provide answers, guidance, and business assistance and resources to businesses in hopes that they will add jobs. That resource assistance will help them add jobs.
So you said the office was birthed out of a plan?
No, the office was created. Well, first of all, the Office of Economic Vitality is a new approach to economic development.
Okay.
After 35 years of history in economic development, the community decided that it wanted to take a different approach.
Okay.
So it met. There were meetings all over the community, citizens from all over the county, all over the city provided input, and what was birthed was the Office of Economic Vitality.
Who are the OEV's end users, and how would they get connected with your office and what you do?
Okay, so let me answer that a little differently.
Okay.
The strategic plan outlines 6 key initiatives
okay.
That we are to pursue, and they're, they all support the end users. For example, business formation, increase the number of business formations, which means that we work with entrepreneurs to try to get them to increase their presence here in the Tallahassee-Leon County area. We also recruit new businesses to Tallahassee-Leon County. We help existing businesses. In fact, we have our business retention program is called Capital Loop. And we go out, we meet with businesses, we find out what the opportunities are, we find out what the challenges are, and then we try to address those and help them unleash their job creation potential. We also have 2 fantastic research universities, and those universities have intellectual property, they have patents, they have copyrights, they have great research that can be commercialized. And so we want to support the leveraging of that research getting out of the universities into the commercial marketplace. Okay. We also want to do what we can in collaboration with our partners to strengthen the talent pipeline so that businesses who are looking at Tallahassee or businesses who are already in Tallahassee have the workforce that they need for the future. And then lastly, one of the strongest impressions that businesses develop about your community is related to the creative economy. The impression is that you are knowledge-based and that you have creative thinkers when you have a strong creative economy. So we want to strengthen that. We want to understand it better. We want to market it and therefore create the strongest impression we can for businesses who may be looking at Tallahassee.
Sounds good. We're going to take a break right there,
Okay.
but when we come back, we'll talk more about the Office of Economic Vitality.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more conversations. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, we're here at Paisley Cafe in Midtown talking economic opportunity and prosperity with my guest, Al Latimer. So Al, before the break, we were talking about the OEV and some of the offerings. Tallahassee has Med Week coming up, which is Minority Enterprise Development Week.
That's correct.
The first week in October.
That's
and
right.
OEV is intricately involved in that, correct?
That we are.
Okay.
Nationally, this is the 35th year of Med Week.
Wow.
This is the 25th year of celebration here in Tallahassee. This year we have 4 days of activities. workshops and training scheduled. It is also the time of year that we honor some the businesses and individuals that have stood out in the area. On Tuesday night, Lucy Ho, who owns a zoo and Masa, and was the first Asian restaurant owner in Tallahassee. We're honoring her, and then we're honoring Congressman Al Lawson Thursday at the luncheon. He is our Advocate of the Year. And then we're honoring Attorney Mutaki Akbar for our Minority Business of the Year.
Nice.
And let me make one clarification. Lucy Ho is our Woman Minority Business of the Year.
Yes. I like you making that distinguished. So.
Right.
The OEV, you have some minority women business initiatives, correct? Or some type of resources that are available to women?
Yeah, let me tell you, through our MWSBE program, Minority Women Small Business Enterprise Unit, what we do is we try to connect women businesses and small business enterprises with procurement opportunities for the city and the county. We also work with private developers to try to increase their participation for minority businesses. So those are two of the ways that we are increasing opportunities for our MWSBE businesses out there.
That's huge, especially for disparities with those specific populations.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you all doing that.
And thank you.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Well, so the job, I assume, is what brought you to Tallahassee.
You would be correct.
Okay.
Yes, even though this is my second tour, I was in Tallahassee at an earlier time, working for the Florida Chamber of Commerce as a lobbyist.
Okay, well, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
What qualities do you most admire in someone, in people?
I think, quite honestly, sincerity, hard work, and teamwork. I really like, to know that people are genuine and that they don't put on airs, that they are real in their presentation of themselves and who they are, what they're capable of. Hard work, because it suggests discipline, stick-to-itiveness, persistence, and then teamwork. Understanding that it takes more than just your effort to get something big done, and when you have to take the focus off of yourself, curb your ego, you're willing to do that so the teams can succeed.
Okay, those are all good points.
Thank you.
Last question, what's the best thing about what you do?
Best thing about what I do is preparing Tallahassee to achieve its future possibilities. Tallahassee is an absolute great community. Tallahassee-Leon County has tremendous assets, from the Mag Lab, from the universities, to buildings, to land, to, quite honestly, a community that has come together and said, we want a new economic development future for ourselves. So we're going to put together a strategic plan, and then we're going to put together a fantastic team, and I am bragging on the folks at OEV. It's the staff there is second to none, and then we're going to pursue a future that we rightly deserve. Tallahassee, I think, is at a point where many large cities were earlier in their career, and so where we pop out on the other side is exciting. It's going to be exciting to be a part of it, and quite honestly, to be able to look back and say, look where we've come from.
Sounds exciting. Makes me want to go there.
You are here.
Well, good. I'm glad I'm here.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Al, for sharing with us what the Office of Economic Vitality does. Look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
And I look forward to telling you more in the future.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that is all the conversation we have time for today. As you can see, our food has arrived. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook, Conversations with Nicole, where we're connecting the community through conversations. Ooh, this looks good.
Okay.
All right.
The pimento cheese, y'all gotta tear into that.
Okay. We'd like to thank our guests, Cara Palmer-Smith of CareerSource Capital Region and Al Latimer of the Tallahassee-Leon County Office of Economic Vitality, for talking to us about economic opportunity and prosperity. I am Nicole Everett. This is Conversations with Nicole, where we're connecting the community through conversations. We'll see you next time. So, we're not doing
Get
medical.
on camera here and say, you know what? 10 shows in already for this season, and you can't do the opening coming in here?